we do have a lot to cover today. So I'm going to go through the whole thing fairly quickly, but I did set aside time at the end of the session to answer all of your questions. That way, if we hold questions to the end, if there's a question that you have that gets answered later, great. But also if a question gets asked and I need to switch to like a live browser window, I can do that. Also, Claudine and I are hosting our office hours on Zoom every Thursday throughout the rest of the semester. So that's a good opportunity to ask questions if you come up with them later. And as usual, you are welcome to reach out to me directly, either on Teams or give me a call or shoot me an email. So let's go ahead and get started. So we are going to be covering a whole bunch of stuff. Like I said, I'm going to go over logging in. I know many of you have already got that down, but for some people who are new to the process, it can be a bit tricky. We'll go over how to filter submissions. We'll look at the intake exemption form and the steps you need to take with that now that a lot of faculty have gotten it submitted. I'll go over the IPR form itself, basically show you what your faculty will be submitting. Then we'll look at setting stages and assignments, cover the SEC stage since it's a bit of an outlier, and then we'll go to the FEC, chair, director, and dean stages. Then we'll talk about the messaging system built into Submittable, as well as the sign appeal and sign acknowledge additional forms. And like I said, then I'll open it up to questions. So go ahead and start with logging into Submittable. When you log into Submittable, or I guess when you get started, all of your work will be done at umtprovost.submittable.com/submissions. And we will send that link out when we send out various informational emails, but also, you can always ask me for it if you forget it. If you're not logged in already, if you go to that page, it'll send you to this sign in. Since it is a based account, the single sign-on button is available. That's the one I recommend just clicking that. If you do visit a Submittable page and that's not available, if you enter your UMontana email in the email field, the password field actually goes away, and clicking either the sign in or the use single sign on will redirect you to the NetID login page. Once you're at the NetID login page, you just use your NetID and password like you would for logging into any other system. And then moving on to filtering submissions. Once you log in, you'll be at the main submissions page for the Office of the Provost. And you'll notice if you don't have filters set up, we have a lot of submissions because this is everything. It's not just faculty evaluation, it's also sabbaticals and other processes that we run. So you'll need to filter out just to show what you need to work on. And even within the subset of stuff that you're working on, it might be helpful to set up further filters so that you're looking at just a section of those. So go ahead and you'll use the show filters button, and that'll bring up this menu. We'll look at these in order, starting with project. The two projects we'll be working with this year during this process are Faculty Evaluation Intake Exemption Form AY 2122 and Faculty Evaluation IPR Submission AY 2122. You can, in the project, select one or multiple projects. I recommend in this situation, you just select the one that you need to work on at that given time. So the first one you'll be working on, for example, is the intake exemption form. The next filter, the review stage filter, will let you look at submissions in just one stage of the process. I'll go over specifics on how to set submission stage later, but let's look at the rest of the filter options. First, you can, though, for example, filter down to just the IPRs currently set in the faculty evaluation committee stage. So can be useful. The next filter that we have is assigned. If you're looking for submissions that have been assigned to just one person or multiple people, that's where this filter comes in. So if you're looking for just the submissions assigned to your department chair or just the submissions assigned to your FEC, that's where that comes in. Just like the project and review stage, you can select multiple ones. And here, that's pretty useful because if, like I said, you're looking for all of the assignments for everyone in your FEC, that might be a thing you need. The rating filter, you won't need. None of our reviews in the faculty evaluation process use the rating system. Similarly, the additional form status is not necessary, and the start and end date are also not really necessary at this time. The label is pretty handy. It will, so all of our submissions are automatically labeled with college, academic unit, and faculty members rank. It's also going to tell you if they're tenure track or not and what action or actions they're requesting. And under label, you can select a single one or any combination thereof. So for example, if you wanted to see all of the submissions for just, just the English department, you can filter that. But if you want to see all of the submissions for just tenure track faculty in the English department, you can also do that. And then the other filters that you want to look at are the status and additional forms. The status is not going to be necessary right now. Similarly, the additional forms you won't need right now. It'll maybe come up later once the sign appeal and sign acknowledge parts of the process come in. But do know that those filters are there. The last two filters are the include and review status. Those, again, you won't need right now. The include, though, you will need to use that sort of after the whole process is completed if you need to access archived submissions. So for example, if you need to access submissions from last year, that's what that filter is for. So once your filters are set up, you just click filter results to apply them. And you'll note now your submission number is considerably more manageable. One in this case, since it's just a test platform. So let's go ahead and look at the intake exemption form, since that has been a big part of this last couple of weeks. On or before 1 week after October 15th, depending on how many of your faculty have finished filling out the intake exemption form. You'll need to use the reporting tools to generate a report on all of the intake exemption form responses from your faculty, and you'll download that as a spreadsheet you can provide to your FEC. So to start, we're going to go ahead and from the dashboard, click on standard reports from the reports dropdown. And then that'll bring you to this screen. So in the fields, in the projects section, you're going to choose the project faculty evaluation intake exemption form AY 2122. And then go ahead and name your report, academic unit name. So English, i.e. AY 2122, just so that we don't get them all confused. Next, we're going to scroll down, and under fields, you're going to go ahead and select the faculty evaluation intake exemption form field drop down. And the fields you want are last name, first name, 790, current academic rank. Please select your college. And then there's an academic unit option for each college. Just select the one that your unit is in. Otherwise, you'll get a whole bunch of blank columns that you don't need. And then all of the remaining fields under there you should select those as well. And then once you've selected all of your fields, you go ahead and just click the download report field or download report button, and it will download the report as an Excel file. In that Excel file, you're going to go ahead and highlight all of the faculty members who are requesting an exemption, and you need to send that to your unit's FEC to review so that they can either approve or deny the exemption requests. Please let your FEC know that they need to return that file to you with their decisions noted before November 15th. Now, we'll go over assigning submissions in more detail shortly, but for now, just know that when you're dealing with the intake exemption form, you don't assign it to the FEC, you don't assign it to the FEC members or the chair, you assign it all to yourself. The FEC doesn't actually look at the intake exemption form, it's just you. Once you've assigned it to yourself, you want to go ahead and you kind of have to go one by one in this case, because you do have to complete the review. While the FEC is reviewing their exemption request list, you can complete the review for the submissions for faculty members who are either automatically exempt or planning to submit an IPR. So go ahead and click on the title of the submission you want to complete a review for. It's not really a review, it's called a review in Submittable. And then in there, you'll go to the Reviews tab if it's not already selected and click Complete Review. And then the review as it stands is just basically, are they requesting exemption? Are they automatically exempt, or are they submitting an IPR? And then you basically say yes. If they're requesting an exemption, you can't do this until the FEC is done. But if they are just automatically exempt or submitting an IPR, go ahead and submit the review. And now we just need to change those to completed. So we click the in progress drop down and then go to mark complete. And then that'll pop up this window where this is how we let the faculty members know what's going on. So in the response template, for folks that are submitting an IPR, it's faculty evaluation, i.e. submitting IPR. Similarly, if they were automatically exempt, it'd be i.e. automatically exempt. It'll pre-fill all of the email subject and email message with a template that we've written. So you don't have to worry about that. And then scroll down and you'll want to make sure you pick send from my address. The big reason for that is if a faculty member replies to that, responses will then go to you and not our office email. It just saves a little bit of headache if people are responding to an email and it gets, to the right person right away. Last thing, you just hit the mark completed and send a response button. So submissions requesting exemptions are a bit different. Like I said, because the FEC has to review them, we still want to let the faculty member know that that's happening. So for those, before the FEC is finished their review, we're going to go into the messages tab and hit the new message button. Again, I'll go through messaging in a bit more detail later with the IPR, but basically what we want to do is just send a message using the template faculty evaluation IE form exemption request received. And that template is basically just letting them know we have your exemption request. The FEC is reviewing it. We'll let you know by email what their decision is. So we go ahead and just hit the send button on that. Once the FEC's completed their review, then you can go back in and complete these submissions that were requesting exemption the same way you did with the ones that were either automatically exempt or planning to submit an IPR by just going to that, changing the status to complete, and then you'll just pick the right template. So either exemption request approved or exemption request denied. The approved one says, great, you're exempt. The denied one says, no, sorry, the FEC has denied the request. You'll still need to submit an IPR this year. And it gives some information on how to submit, just like it would if they got the one saying they were planning to submit. So that leads us to the IPR itself. You're going to go through the IPR form that your faculty members will be submitting, and then we'll go through the various parts of supporting it. So the first part of the IPR form, and yes, it's pretty small text, it's a big form, just asks for the basic information, last name, first name, 790, college, and then academic unit. And the college will, what they pick in under college will change what the academic unit list shows. It'll also ask if they're tenure track or not. And then if they are tenure track, it will ask them their current title and rank, when they were hired, what they were hired as, if they've been promoted, if they've been awarded tenure yet, if they've received a merit award, and then finally, the big thing, what action or actions they are requesting. Thing to note here, if they can't select merit and promotion in the same year. So if a faculty member does accidentally select both merit and promotion, we'll have to reopen that submission for them to edit to make them so that they can pick just one of the two. If that happens, you'll want to reach out to me so that I can walk you through that process. It's pretty uncommon that it happens. I think it only may have happened once last year. So it's just going to be pretty useful to, or it's useful to know that that's a thing, but it's a bit more complex. So I'll walk you through it over Zoom if that happens. If they're non-tenure track, they have fewer questions to answer, just current title and rank and what actions they're requesting. Again, there's a couple invalid combinations. An OPA can't be requested in conjunction with a merit or promotion, and merit can't be requested with a promotion. So just like with tenure track faculty, if one of those invalid combinations is selected, just reach out to me. I'll walk you through the process of reopening the submission if necessary. And then the final part of the form is the IPR itself. This is where the faculty will upload all of the documents that comprise their IPR. The files, they can submit up to 35 separate files, and the size, it's 300 megabytes total. If they need to submit more files than that, or if they have something really big they need to submit, reach out to me. That hasn't happened, even with some of the folks from like art who have, big, picture files and whatnot. Like, it hasn't been necessary for them that they've needed like a huge file upload, but if they do, reach out to me. We'll make it happen so that it can be archived along with the rest of the IPR and available for reviewers. So once they're done, they just check the box that says, this is my IPR and I believe it to be complete, and they just hit submit. Note also, they can like totally go to, they can save draft and come back to this. So if they're worried that like they only have part of it done or whatever, go ahead and just let them know. Get it, get started on it. But if you have to come back to it, you can, as long as they get it in by the deadline of the 15th. That's totally acceptable. So now let's look at the specifics of setting stages and assignments. So once your faculty members have submitted their IPRs, it's going to be time to start assigning the submissions to the FEC so that they can begin their review. To do that, first we have to change the stage. So first things first, filter your review so that you're just showing the submissions under the faculty evaluation IPR submission AY 2122 project, and make sure you also have it filtered by label so that you're only showing your unit or the unit you're working with. If you have multiple units, for example, just select one, unless the FEC is shared, which I don't think is a thing for most units. We don't want to assign submissions to the wrong people, so make sure your filters are set correctly. Once you have all of your filters set up and you're just showing the submissions that are for one unit, go ahead and select them all and click the stage button. And then you want to select the faculty evaluation committee stage. And that will change the stage to faculty evaluation committee. And then we need to assign the FEC. Now, a lot of you have already given me the names of the FEC chairs for your units, and I will be adding them to the Office of the Provost team as level 1 reviewers. I do know that each unit is a bit different in how their FEC works. So if your FEC chair is planning to download and share IPRs with the rest of the committee so they can be reviewed in an internal process, it might be that they're the only person that needs to be assigned. In that case, great. But if your entire FEC needs to be assigned so that they can review these themselves, they'll also need access to the submittable system. So we'll need to add them as level 1 reviewers as well. If that is the case, please give me a list of FEC members by October 15th so I can make sure that they are added and that they can be assigned the same way as the FEC chair. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and assign, and just like with the IE form, you just click the assign button. But in this case, you want to assign the FEC chair and also FEC members, again, if they are going to be reviewing them directly in Submittable. Once you've got everyone assigned, go ahead and just hit the done button. One thing about the assignment list, it isn't in alphabetical order, somewhat frustratingly. So the search function is super useful. You can search by name or you can search by email. Email is the UMontana address. Once you hit the done button, it will automatically generate an email and send it to all of the people you just assigned it to. The email comes from notifications@email.submittable.com, and the subject line is new submission assignment from Office of the Provost. It will let them know that they have an IPR to review. I highly recommend you set up a rule in Outlook to always deliver those emails to your inbox, not the spam or junk folder or the dreaded other tab if you have focused inbox turn on. And I also highly recommend that you encourage your faculty to do the same. There's a lot of times when those just slip by and people are like, oh, I didn't see it. So definitely encourage those inbox rules. The same steps will apply, by the way, for setting the stage or setting assignments once we reach either the chair and director stage or the dean stage. So same principle, just the stage is different and the assignments are different. So let's look, though, now at the SEC stage, which is a bit of an outlier. And we talked a little bit about this in our very first office hours yesterday to kind of figure out the best path forward. And it sounds like we're going to go with the use the best approach for your unit approach. By now, your SECs should already have access to the course evaluation reports for your faculty members and started their review of those. When they've completed their review, they should provide that report to you. And most of you will have your own system within your unit already set up for that. I know, for example, Lindsay has a custom PDF that she created that she provides to the SECs. Based on that, I also created a PDF, a fillable PDF template, so that some of you who might prefer that option will have it. I'm going to make that available on our faculty evaluation page on our Provost website, so that you can use that if you want it. But I also did create an internal review form for the SEC stage if you want to do it all within Submittable. So if you do want to do it that way, I'm going to go through that because I think it's neat and easy, but also you just need to know how to do it. So if you do want to use the internal form, you're going to go ahead and change the stage to SEC. And then just like with the intake exemption forms, you actually assign it to yourself. Then you'll just go in to the submission, the IPR submission, and under the reviews tab, you'll see that the SEC review is available for you as the person assigned to it. Just like with the intake exemption form, you just go ahead and click on complete review, and it will give you the option of either entering a text-based summary, so you can like copy paste that from a document that the SEC creates and shares with you, or you can upload the summary data directly. Either way works, but you can also pick both if for some reason you want to pick both. Once you've done that, you just hit submit review, and it will finish the whole internal review step. The last thing you need to do if you're using the internal review stage option is to just download the review so that you can then upload it into the internal field for the SEC later. so that other reviewers can see it later. You'll also need to send it to the faculty members using the messages system. And again, we'll cover that in a bit more detail in a moment. So for now, let's move on to the FEC chair, director, and dean stages. These are all fairly similar, so I'm going to cover them all in a bundle, mostly referring to the FEC stage because it's the one that's coming up first, but primarily these function the same way or in a very similar way within the back end of Submittable. Again, by November 15th, the FEC should have finalized its report and given it to you to upload. So we'll cover that part of the process. So again, make sure your filters are set up correctly. I'm going to repeat that probably ad nauseum just because it's important. And then you're going to go ahead and click into the submission you want to work on just by clicking the title, which is the last name. And then we're going to go ahead and we need to scroll down to this section that says internal form. And then we just click the little down arrow in the box. From there, you click edit. And then scroll down a little bit and you'll see a section that says internal FEC evaluation and it gives you a place where you can choose the file. If you click choose file, it'll bring up the normal file picker window. If you want to, though, you can also just drag and drop files directly into that little dashed box. Both work. So kind of up to you how you want to deal with that. But once you've done that, you go ahead and, oops, it's restarting the slide, sorry. Once you've done that, it'll show up as an attached file. And the nice thing about this is how your reviewers will be able to see the previous review. So the chair can see the FEC, the dean can see both, et cetera. Once you're done, you can go ahead and scroll back up and click the update button. And that's it. So we'll move along to the messaging and sign appeal / sign acknowledge additional forms. All of the reviews that are completed need to also make their way to the faculty members. So after you've uploaded a review into the internal field, we're going to go again to that messages tab and hit new message. And then you'll make sure the from is you. It should be set that way automatically. The to is, of course, the faculty member, who is also the submitter. So they should be the first option in that dropdown. The template, we have these pretty clearly marked. It's faculty evaluation and then FEC review or chair review or dean review. And then there's even a parenthesis that says used to send FEC rec or whatever. So they should be pretty easy to identify. And again, it will automatically fill out the subject and the message based on that template. And you just scroll down and then there's this section or link that says attach files or drag and drop here. Again, just like with the internal field, you click that and it'll bring up the file picker, or you can just drag and drop the review onto there. And then once you have it attached, you hit send. And that sends an email to the faculty member with the review for them to review. It sends it from that same notifications email, which is why I said make sure your telling your faculty members to set up those filters, because a lot of times those go to the other tab and faculty members don't see them. So let them know to watch out for them. The additional form requests will also get sent from that same email. So it's really important that faculty members are looking for emails from that submittable notification email. The other thing with the submittable emails about or with attachments like that is the like view PDF link is often really, really small in the message. So it can be kind of hard to see. So if your faculty members are having a hard time finding it, just know that it is there. It's really small, and it's usually like highlighted in like black and white. So if they have problems and you're having problems showing them where it is, go ahead and reach out to me. Again, Teams, phone, email, whatever. I'll be happy to help walk people through it. So now we're going to go ahead and send the additional form. So to do that, we click the more drop down up here at the top, and then send additional form. And that brings up this cool pop-up here. Just like with the messaging, this is set up, I hope, in a really straightforward way. The additional form you want is faculty evaluation and then FEC sign appeal, or chair sign appeal, or dean sign acknowledge, because that's a different thing, but the title's different. The way you do it is the same. Email template, again, should be really easy to find. It's faculty evaluation, FEC, SA, and then there's a parenthetical that says use with FEC, SA, additional form. And it, again, autofills the email subject and email message based on that template. We just scroll down, and again, make sure you say it should come from my address. And this is confusing because it still comes from that notifications at submittable email, but the reply to address is really what this means. And that's where it shows up. Or that's why I stress this, because if they reply to that email, it goes to you and doesn't end up in our main office email inbox. So it's a lot less confusing when people start replying to emails. And then the last thing is just hitting the send additional form. That is pretty much it for that part of the process. The other thing about additional forms is, if a faculty member is having problems accessing them, I know sometimes they do, like if the link in their email isn't sending them to the right place, or, they're a lot of times the issue we had was with those faculty members that had a submittable account prior to the rollout of submittable campus-wide. So prior to the single sign-on rollout, those accounts usually need to be merged. So if they're having problems signing in and seeing that additional form, reach out to me and connect them with me. I will connect you both, you and the faculty member having problems, with the Submittable's organizational support team to get those two separate accounts merged. The other thing is that the other way you can kind of tell is a lot of times faculty members, if they need to look at something in their account, it'll be in the back end. They'll try and log in, and they won't be able to see their IPR submission that they submitted. And again, it's because they submitted it with their UMontana address, but then they're looking at it with a separate account that needs to be merged in. With that pretty much covers the majority of the submittable side of stuff, but I know that there are going to be questions, and that's why I left this last little bit for questions. So I will open it up. I'm going to scroll into the chat and see Um, yeah, so it looks like Claudine's been answering some of these. Kat, yes, you should already be seeing IE form submissions. Let me make sure that, because you're new, you may not be in the submittable team yet. I will double check that everyone who is managing the submittable process is in the team, or has been added to the team. Dallas, same with you. You're just new to the process, so we'll just have to make sure that we get you added. So yeah, any other questions? Karen, is the submittable notifications email notifications@submittable.com? It is actually, let me get the exact right email so I'm not giving you the wrong information. It is notifications@email.submittable.com. And yes, a guideline or a instructional document for how to set up those filters in Outlook would be super useful, and I will create one. And I'm going to stop this share actually, and switch over to a browser window because I want to show you guys our faculty evaluation page. So I'm going to share that. Okay, so this is our faculty evaluation page. And we have a ton of information on here, and Claudine has been working really hard on, excuse me, creating video content that will go over this sort of about the process as it's laid out in the CBA, sort of the not submittable specific stuff. I've been focusing on the sort of submittable side of things. So for today, the two links I want to point you towards are these two under resources: the information and training sessions and detailed instructions. Information and training sessions. This is where I posted the links to this session, the one next week for faculty members, and then the one on October 20th for reviewers. These are the registration links for now. As Jasmine gets me the recordings of these videos, because we are recording them, where this is a link, it's going to be instead the link to the recording. And also I'm going to be turning the PowerPoint you just saw me go through, along with all of my notes on the PowerPoint, into a PDF that will be linked along with the video. So you'll be able to access all of those as well. And then the other one, like I said, is this detailed instructions. This will look a bit different shortly because it's going to have one column that's for faculty and one that's for faculty evaluation managers, i.e. you guys. I basically, just to get stuff up there in time, I just kind of threw it up there. This is getting updated pretty frequently as I create documents, or as Claudine creates documents and sends them out by email. Those then I am turning into PDFs, splitting them up as necessary, and creating instructional PDFs based on those. That's where I'm going to put up the instructions on setting up Outlook rules. So as Claudine says in the chat, this is ton of information. This is a really big, complex process, and like wrapping your head around it can be a trick. So if there's something that you are like, how do I do such and so? Again, one, teams. We have the academic affairs all stars team. You should all already be in there. I'm pretty sure you all are. If you are not yet, please let me know and I will get you added, or rather Claudine will get you added because she set the team up. I'm also always available during like 8 to 5 unless I'm at a meeting or lunch or something. Extension 4689, that's our main office line. I'm the one that answers it. And then email. Again, if you've got like something that's like not hyper urgent, or you just want to like spell something out and it's easiest to do it by email, email is fine. I'm also happy to do like a one-on-one Zoom session if you need it. And if it's gonna be like something that more people are gonna like have questions about, I might record it and make that available. But if it's just like, how do I do this? Can you show me? I am happy to like hop on a quick 5-minute Zoom and show you, or Teams call. But as Clayton says, Thursday morning office hours, that's like, they're super awesome. We get a ton of people showing up for them. There's at least a couple minutes at the start of every one where people are just chatting, which is cool because a lot of us otherwise live in our own little silo, and it's nice to see people. So we do get to just kind of talk about stuff that's happening around campus and in our lives. But also, that's a really good time for me to like answer questions that like a bunch of people are having, like, how do I do this? And I can go ahead and show you in Zoom. Like, I can log into Submittable and be like, this is how you do blah. So definitely recommend tuning into those, because sometimes they like someone will ask a question you don't know you had until they asked it. Like you may not have gotten there yet, or it just may not have occurred to you, but they'll ask it and you'll be like, oh, right, that's totally a thing that I should know how to do. So in that case, again, any last questions?
Thank you, Tom. Thanks for going through all that, and thanks to everyone for being here. Good luck.
Thank you, Jasmine.